Because if you're in the space where you enjoy it, you are excellent at it, and it's the thing that's earning your business the most amount of money, then guess what? Now you have legs. Now your business can grow. Now your business can scale. And you can get off of your plate all the things that don't bring you enjoyment, that don't bring the most value to your potential customers, as well as internally, emotionally, and to your business itself. So let's take a few moments and let's get started on our BSPU call and focus on what I wanted to share with you today, which is something that I deal with a lot in my business, and I know you do as well. And I have a methodology, if you will, to really figure out, okay, where are the biggest opportunities in my business and where do I really need to be focusing right now in my business. And I'm going to share with you exactly what I've been doing. This is something that I've been doing over the last week. This is my own personal notebook and something that I kind of drew out on the board for you here because I wanted to show you, I believe this will be helpful to you. This is something that I've been doing for years, and I believe this is helpful to you no matter where you're at in your business process. You may be looking at starting an entire new consulting practice because you've been successful at actually doing the thing, or maybe you're starting coaching, or maybe you're starting to scale up, or whatever it is. You're, as a business owner, an entrepreneur, going to have all of these different things you can be doing, maybe even that your conscience tells you you should be doing. And so because you can't do everything, you really have to figure out, what is it that I want to do that is going to lead to the most bang for my buck, my time, right? The most precious thing you have, more precious than money. What's going to lead to the most impact for my time, and that is going to give me great longevity, right? Something that I can do for a long time and really persevere in. When I was starting Bestseller Publishing, and I still owned my financial services company at that time, most of you know the story. I was really debating. The financial services company was a multi-million-dollar company, and obviously I had a level of comfort there because of the money that was coming in. But there were some things that I was really unhappy about in the company. I was unhappy with the amount of government regulation, right? Some of you know the story. One day I'm sitting in my office at a beautiful office right on the Intercoastal in South Florida. And one day I get a knock on the door. It's the Department of Professional Regulation in Florida. And they come in and they just say, hey, we want to look at your files. And guess what? They looked at my files. And then they said, well, we want to take these 6 files. And guess what they did? They took those 6 files, and there was no warning. There was no call ahead. There was no nothing. Now, we had nothing wrong with our files, and everything was completely in order, and it worked out great, and there was no kind of issue. But I had this uneasiness. I'm like, I am really in a regulated industry, so much so that I can have people just walk in my office and confiscate my stuff. And I was like, I don't really like that. And so I made a decision at that time. Of course, people were clamoring for help because of my books and the media that I was doing. They were clamoring for help on writing books, launching books, getting media and PR, using the book to grow the business. But I didn't know, right? Looking back in hindsight being 2020, I was like, you could look back and say, of course the book business would do fantastic, but I didn't know at that time. And so I did this. I did what I call my E3 method, which is, nothing more than a Venn diagram with 3 concentric circles. And what I look for, especially at my age, is finding something at the very, very center of these 3 concentric circles. And those 3 concentric circles for me are 3 E's. They're number 1, do I enjoy this thing? Will I enjoy it? Not just today, and do I really feel fulfilled and enjoy it today, but do I think I will in the future? Number 2, do I excel at this thing? Is this something that I'm really excellent at, right? Not just something I'm good at, but something that I just excel at. It is a gift of mine. And then third and finally, is this something that will earn money for me, for my family, for the company? And so when I was thinking about bestseller publishing, the big unanswered question for me is, how much money could I make, starting a publishing business and helping people ghostwrite and book launch and all those kinds of things. That was a question mark for me, but I loved it. I enjoyed it. I felt like I excelled at it. And because of that, I dipped my toe in the water and I began moving forward with BSP. And you know the story. Within a couple of years, it was going so well. I was doing both businesses simultaneously. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to sell my financial services company and I'm going to go all in on BSP. And of course, since that time, you know, I've more than doubled the revenues with BSP than I ever did with, you know, another multi-million-dollar company that I had, my financial services company. But those three things are what I look for. So let me give you my process, whether it's you're starting something or whether it is that you're in the midst of something. Now, I just shared with you an example of me starting bestseller publishing and what I look for. Now I'm going to give you an example of, okay, here I have a more mature company, and it's a company that I have a full staff of, you know, 14 people, as well as, you know, a couple dozen other subcontractors and people that I pay that are writers or editors and formatters, etc. And so I have a more mature company, but this is still something now that I have to focus on. So this was something I did last week because I found myself in a new place in my business. There are things that, and you may have noticed this, I haven't done a webinar in probably 4 months, maybe even longer than that. I have not traveled for my business in almost 6 months. And the last big event that I did was my friend and former client Shanda Sumter's event, which was in Arizona. When I brought my whole staff out there, I spoke on her stage a couple of times, and it was a really successful event for her as well as for us, but I haven't traveled again. And I've not done those things because I've decided at this stage of my life, I'm not enjoying those things as much. I was doing a webinar every single week because I liked it, I excelled at it, and I made a lot of money. And I've backed off of that because that enjoyment circle was really beginning to lack. So I found myself with more time on my hands because I've eliminated some things from my life and from my business. And I thought, okay, I need to go back to my E3 method here and figure out what is it that Rob really needs to be focused on every single day. So my first step in doing this, as you can see, is I make a list. What are all the things, and all is a very general term, it's more narrow, but what are all the things in my narrow way that I could be doing right now to successfully grow my company, right? And so my list, my initial, this is for me, this is something I did last week before. This is not something I put together just to teach you today. This is something that I did last week as I was thinking through this. So this is what my list looked like. Number one, writing. You know, I'm writing 2 more books. Publish, Promote, Profit has done fantastic. Our business is breaking records almost every single month. We're 50% plus up over last year, and last year was a record year because the book is just doing so well. But I'm writing 2 more books. Why? Because I have more of a message to give out, because I want more offers, and because I want more people to know who I am and who Bestseller Publishing is. So writing is something that I could be doing more of. Number 2, Gary V style content. I've been dabbling in this. In fact, we have a multi-camera shoot set up right now. And I've been dabbling in this, in creating a ton of content for both video, audio, like a podcast, as well as that could be repurposed into print. And I've been doing this, but I haven't gone all in like, you know, Gary Vaynerchuk would tell you to go in, right? Where he's creating, you know, 40, 50, 60 pieces of content every single day because he's stripping out and you know, having, you know, multiple articles, multiple videos, everything. Multiple podcasts, etc. And I haven't gone all in on that, even though I've gone significantly in on it. So I could go deeper in that. I wrote my list out. Number 3, more training of my staff, which is something that I do on a regular basis. We have office meetings. Those office meetings always have to do with some kind of training. But you guys know, or many of you know, I have Randy, who's my operations manager. He does a lot of training. He's fantastic. And so I thought, okay, I could certainly do more of that. Number 4, creating new offers is something that I enjoy doing, and something that No one is going to do in my business more than me. Number 5, new ads, new strategies to attract clients, right? Always need to be doing that. As you know, I always keep my hand in how our ads are doing. I look at them every single day. I make changes and adjustments. I have Steve here, my director of technology, who's been with me, it'll be 8 years in just a few months, as well as I have some paid resources, people that I pay to help me with my ads. And then number 6, new ideas and new things that may interest me, whether that's new programs and new offers that I can make with BSP, or something totally different, right? I'm an entrepreneur, so I always have kind of that entrepreneurial ADD, right? You know, I have a bunch of new ideas and things that I want to do. I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on, various web domains and things like that I'm interested in building out, et cetera. So I make my list. This is a shortened version of it, but enough for you to at least, get a good idea. And I start going through this E3 method, and I make them compete with each other on each of these 3 concentric circles. I look at writing versus what it's going to take to create Gary V style content versus training staff, creating offers, ads, new ideas. And I pit them up against each other in the enjoyment circle. Which of these things do I enjoy the most? Which of these things do I enjoy the least? If I enjoy them the least and I can outsource them, then I'm crossing them off my list and I'm outsourcing it to somebody else. I'll keep my hand in it for accountability, but I want it eventually, whether maybe it can't be immediately, but eventually I want it completely off my plate. Then I do the same thing in my own talents and gifts. Do I excel in this thing? Is this something that I am excellent in? Now, sometimes you have something that you really enjoy and you're excellent in, but obviously your enjoyment might be higher or lower than the position is with the thing that you excel. And then last but not least, which of these things will earn me the most money versus which of these things will earn me the least money and help us to grow bestseller publishing and grow the brand itself. So I make my list of things compete for its position in my E3 Venn diagram. And then from that, I am going to have 1 or 2 things that I say, okay, this is really what I should clearly focus on and do. When I do that, it gives me incredible clarity in my business. When I don't do that and I find myself with free time, or I find myself in a little bit of a lull, it's because I'm doing things that I don't fully enjoy or that I am not really excellent at, right? Because I feel like I need to do those things. Now, don't get me wrong. When I started Bestseller Publishing, some of you know the story. First month, we had 80 strategy session applications. Who did all 80 of those sales calls? This guy did, right? Why? Because there was no one else to do them. I was the sales guy, back 7 years ago. I was the one doing every single call because I needed to really vet whether or not this was going to be a prototype, a business that I could grow. So I did every one of those calls besides all the other things that I needed to do. So don't get me wrong. There may be things in your business right now that you say to yourself, you know what, I don't want to do this, but I do have to do this. What you need to be thinking of, if it's something you don't enjoy, or if it's something you're not excellent at, you need to figure out how to move that off your plate, right? Move it onto somebody else's plate as quickly as possible. Because if you're in the space where you enjoy it, you are excellent at it, and it's the thing that's earning your business the most amount of money, then guess what? Now you have legs. Now your business can grow. Now your business can scale. And you can get off of your plate all the things that don't bring you enjoyment, that don't bring the most value to your potential customers, as well as internally, emotionally, and to your business itself. So that's a mouthful, but I wanted to share this with you because I really feel like this is something that I do on a regular basis. And as I said, I'm sharing this with you not as, oh, I want to give you something to teach you, but this is what I'm doing right now. These are things that I am debating and trying to figure out where my primary focus needs to be in my business right now. And I think if you apply this, you'll find exactly where you need to be in your business as well. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. Every week, we're posting tons more content to help you to publish, promote, and profit. So go ahead and subscribe now to the channel and click the bell icon to be notified whenever new content is available. And if you're interested in my latest book, Publish, Promote, Profit, just go to publishpromoteprofit.com.